Struggling with doubt in your faith? You're not alone. Many Christians face this challenge, often feeling guilty or confused. But what if there was a way to use your doubts to actually strengthen your relationship with God? In this video, we'll explore the one step that can transform your uncertainty into unshakable faith. Picture this. You're sitting in church surrounded by people who seem so certain in their beliefs. Meanwhile, questions swirl in your mind. Is God really there? Does He care about me? You feel a pang of guilt for even thinking these thoughts. This internal struggle is more common than you might think. Here's something that might surprise you. Doubt can actually be a catalyst for spiritual growth. It's not a sign of weakness, but an opportunity for deeper understanding. Throughout this video, we'll uncover how embracing your doubts can lead to a stronger, more authentic faith. Stay with us as we reveal the one powerful step that can turn your uncertainty into a tool for strengthening your relationship with God. This simple yet transformative approach might just change the way you view your faith journey forever. You might think doubt is a modern problem, but it's as old as faith itself. Did you know that even Abraham, the father of faith, questioned God's promises? His journey from skepticism to unwavering trust could redefine how you see your own doubts. When we think of biblical heroes, we often imagine figures of unwavering faith, but the truth is, many of them wrestled with doubt just like we do. Let's take a closer look at two prominent examples, Abraham and Thomas. Abraham, known as the father of faith, had his moments of uncertainty. When God promised him a son in his old age, Abraham laughed in disbelief. He even tried to fulfill God's promise through his own efforts with Hagar. Yet, despite these doubts, Abraham's faith grew stronger over time. His willingness to sacrifice Isaac, his long-awaited son, demonstrates how his initial skepticism transformed into profound trust. Thomas, one of Jesus' disciples, is often remembered as Doubting Thomas. After Jesus' resurrection, Thomas declared he wouldn't believe unless he could touch Jesus' wounds. But when Jesus appeared to him, Thomas's doubt turned into one of the most powerful declarations of faith in the Bible, "My Lord and my God." These examples reveal a crucial truth. Doubt is not the opposite of faith, but often a step on the journey towards deeper belief. God didn't reject Abraham or Thomas for their questions. Instead, He met them in their uncertainty, providing the evidence and reassurance they needed. This pattern repeats throughout Scripture. Moses doubted his ability to lead, Gideon questioned God's call, and Jeremiah struggled with his prophetic mission. In each case, God responded not with condemnation, but with patience and revelation. So what does this mean for us? It shows that our doubts don't disqualify us from a relationship with God. In fact, they might be the very thing that propels us towards a more authentic faith. When we honestly confront our uncertainties, we open ourselves to new understanding and growth. Think about it. If faith were simply about having all the answers, would it really be faith? True faith isn't the absence of doubt, but the choice to trust despite our question. It's about holding on to hope even when we can't see the full picture. The next time you find yourself struggling with doubt, remember Abraham's laughter turning to joy or Thomas's skepticism transforming into worship. Your questions aren't a sign of failure. They're an invitation to a deeper, more resilient faith. Doubt often feels like a roadblock, but what if it's actually a doorway? Picture this. Every question mark in your faith journey is an opportunity for God to reveal Himself in ways you've never experienced before. This perspective shift can transform your relationship with uncertainty, turning it from a source of anxiety into a catalyst for growth. When we face doubts, our natural instinct is often to suppress them or feel guilty. However, embracing these uncertainties can lead to a more robust and personal faith. It's the difference between a faith that's inherited and one that's truly your own. By questioning and seeking answers, you're not just memorizing beliefs, you're internalizing them. Consider the process of strengthening a muscle. It's through resistance and challenge that the muscle grows stronger. Similarly, your faith can become more resilient when it faces and overcomes doubts. This doesn't mean you'll find all the answers, but you'll develop a faith that can withstand life's challenges. It's crucial to distinguish between doubt that seeks answers and cynicism that rejects them. Doubt, when approached with an open heart, can lead you to dig deeper into your beliefs, study Scripture more intently, and engage in meaningful conversations with other believers. This process of wrestling with difficult questions can result in a faith that's not just stronger, but also more nuanced and compassionate. Embracing doubt doesn't mean abandoning your beliefs. Instead, it's about being honest with God and yourself. When you bring your questions to God, you're inviting Him into your struggle. This vulnerability can actually deepen your relationship with Him. Remember, God is big enough to handle your doubts. He's not intimidated by your questions. Moreover, working through doubts can equip you to better understand and empathize with others who are struggling. Your journey through uncertainty can make you a more effective witness, able to connect with those who have similar questions. As you navigate your doubts, maintain a posture of humility. Recognize that while you may not have all the answers, this doesn't invalidate your faith. In fact, acknowledging the limits of our understanding can be a profound act of faith itself. It's saying, God, there's so much I don't know, but I trust you. We've explored how doubt can be a natural part of faith, but there's a profound truth hiding in plain sight. What if the solution to doubt isn't about gaining more knowledge, but about embracing a paradox that goes against our natural instincts? This brings us to the one step that can transform your relationship with doubt and deepen your faith. Surrendering control. It might sound counterintuitive, especially when you're seeking answers, but this act of trust can be the key to unlocking a more authentic and resilient faith. Surrendering control doesn't mean abandoning reason or suppressing your questions. Instead, it's about acknowledging our human limitations and choosing to trust God's wisdom over our own understanding. It's recognizing that while we may not have all the answers, we can still place our trust in a God who sees the bigger picture. This step involves bringing your doubts to God rather than trying to resolve them on your own. It's about saying, God, I don't understand everything, but I choose to trust you. This posture of humility opens the door for God to work in ways we might not expect. Implementing this step in your daily life can take various forms. Prayer is a powerful tool, allowing you to express your doubts and uncertainties directly to God. You might find it helpful to journal your questions and concerns, offering them up to God as you write. Meditating on Scripture, particularly passages that speak to God's faithfulness and wisdom, can reinforce your trust in Him even when you don't have all the answers. Seeking guidance from mature believers can also be invaluable. Sometimes hearing how others have navigated their own doubts can provide perspective and encouragement. Remember, the goal isn't to erase all doubt, but to learn to trust God in the midst of it. As you practice surrendering control, you may find that your perspective on doubt begins to shift. Rather than seeing it as a threat to your faith, you might start to view it as an invitation to deeper trust. Each question becomes an opportunity to rely more fully on God's wisdom and timing. This approach to doubt can lead to a faith that's not only stronger but more flexible. It's a faith that can withstand life's challenges because it's rooted in a relationship with God rather than in having all the answers. You might find that as you surrender control, your faith becomes more about trusting God's character than understanding every detail of His plan. Remember, even biblical figures like Abraham and Thomas had to learn this lesson of surrender. Their stories show us that God doesn't reject us for our questions, but uses them to draw us closer to Him. As we've explored, doubt isn't a flaw in your faith, but a natural part of it. Biblical figures like Abraham and Thomas show us that questioning can lead to growth. By viewing uncertainty as an opportunity and taking the crucial step of surrendering control, we open ourselves to a deeper relationship with God. Remember, your doubts aren't a threat to your faith, they're an invitation to strengthen it. By bringing your questions to God and choosing to trust Him even when you don't have all the answers, you're cultivating a more resilient and authentic belief. This journey of faith isn't about having perfect understanding. It's about developing a trust that can withstand life's challenges. As you embrace your doubts and surrender them to God, you may find your faith becoming more meaningful and personal than ever before. Your questions can become the very foundation of a stronger, more vibrant relationship with God.